Hi everybody, John from Wire here, and in this video we're going to learn how to configure and set up Google Analytics 4 with your Shopify store. In order to do this, we need two things. We need a Google account, and we also need a Shopify store and a Shopify account. If you don't already have either of these things, I've included a link within the video description below. So let's get started. The first thing we need to do is log in to our Google account and go to analytics.google.com. And it should take you to a page that looks like this. Click on the button that says Start Measuring, and then we'll enter an account name. So my account name is going to be Shopify Store. Then I'm going to leave all four of these checkboxes selected, then click on Next. And I'm going to name my property My Shopify Store. Reporting time zone is where I'm currently located. And the currency, you can change this to your supporting currency based on the currency you select within your store. This looks really good to me, but I'm going to click on Show Advanced Options and also make sure that I've selected Create a Universal Analytics Property. And you'll see why we're doing this in just a minute. So next, I want to paste my website URL. So I'm going to go into my Shopify store. I'm going to copy my URL. And then I'm going to paste that within this box here. I'm just going to remove the HTTPS because that's already included, and the trailing slash at the end. Now I'm going to click on Next, and then I'll select my industry and the size of my Shopify store business. Selecting these things doesn't really make a difference in how your Shopify store or your analytics is configured. So I've selected the checkboxes that I want. And now I'm going to click on Create. If you're setting up a Google Analytics property for the first time, you'll have to accept the Google Analytics Terms of Service Agreement and also the additional terms. I'm going to click on I accept. And then I'll be taken to a page that looks like this. So the next thing I want to do is I want to click on the Global Site Tag. I'm going to copy this tag and then go back in my example store on Shopify. So you see the page that I'm currently on is under Online Store on the left-hand sidebar, and then Preferences. And this is the page that is going to show up when you click on Preferences in the left-hand sidebar. So you notice that I already have a Google Analytics account that's configured with the Shopify store. So if I click on Change, I can remove the code that's already there and then paste the script that I copied earlier from Google Analytics. Now see what happens when I click on Save. You'll notice that it says that the analytics snippet does not look valid. And this is because this snippet right here and this tag is for Google Analytics 4. So how do we get our Shopify store to be configured with Google Analytics 4 and have access to all the fancy features that comes with it? Here's how. So this next section is pretty special because if you have a legacy Shopify account, you're not going to be able to modify your themes.liquid files. If you have a modern Shopify account, which means that you're basically registered your account within the last couple of years, you'll have no problem doing this. So to access your theme files, click on Online Store, click on Themes, and then under the Live Theme section, click on the drop down where it says Actions, and then Edit Code. Within the Edit Code section, you're going to click on your theme.liquid file. And then all of the code is going to appear on the right-hand side. What I'm looking for in this theme.liquid file is the head tag. I've noticed that the head tag is right here at the top of the page. It should be at the top of the page for you as well. So if I have my code that I've copied earlier, I'm just going to click on Enter so that I have a brand new line. And then I'm just going to paste the code that I copied from earlier. As long as it's below the head HTML element and within the closing head element, which you can see right here, I should be good to go. So I've pasted my script right here, and now I can click on Save. Now that I've saved this, I have to make sure that my online store does not have a password on the store. So I go into Preferences under Online Store, scroll down, and make sure that Enable Password is unchecked. Now I can go and visit my online store. So here I am on my store, and if I go back into Google Analytics, we're going to check and make sure that this Google Analytics 4 tag is working properly. In order to do that, you're going to X out of the admin section and instead go on the left-hand side to where it says real time. And you'll notice that I have one active user on my site, and that is me. So it's already recognized that I have visited the homepage of this example store. When you first add that tracking code to your Shopify store, it may take up to 10 minutes for the data to appear within Google Analytics. So be patient once you've saved that code within your header of your website. If you go back onto your store, you also want to make sure that you have any of your extensions that might block any ad or tracking pixels turned off. So as an example, I have uBlock Origin, which prevents me from seeing ads on different sites, and I've turned that off for this page so I can test to make sure that my Google Analytics is working properly. So if you don't have access to a Shopify Plus account and you don't have the ability to go and edit your theme file directly, what can you do? Well, we're going to select the old Google Analytics 3 property from this dropdown right here, and then we're going to select all website data. And you'll notice that there is already active users that are configured on this page. The reason that this is active is because we already have the Google Analytics 4 tracking code on our site. But let's imagine that we don't have that Google Analytics tracking code. What you can do is go into admin. And then once you're in admin, we're making sure that we're no longer on our Google Analytics store, Google Analytics 4 property, And then we're going to select the Google Analytics 3 property, and then click on tracking info, and then tracking code. So this is the Google Analytics 3 tracking code, which we're going to copy, and then head back into our Shopify store admin page. From here, we're going to click on Online Store, and then Preferences. And under the Google Analytics section, we're going to change or copy and paste that Google Analytics code that we had copied earlier. Then click on Save. And now you have your Google Analytics 3 property registered with your Shopify store. This may seem really counterintuitive. Why do we have to go and find an old Google Analytics 3 tracking code and paste it here? Why can't we just use the Google Analytics 4 tracking code? It's a great question, and I don't have an answer for you. It seems that Shopify hasn't configured their entire platform to work with Google Analytics 4, which is why we're forced to go within the theme.liquid file to make the changes we need there. Hopefully in the future, it should be easy just to copy the Google Analytics 4 code that we had earlier and paste it within this section right here, but we don't have the ability to do that right now, so we're forced to do this workaround. I hope this helped, and if you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment below. I do read each and every one of those comments and try to respond as best as I can. Thanks, and until next time, hope you have a good day. This next section is specifically for people who have lost their tracking code and want to figure out where within Google Analytics they can grab it again in order to configure Google Analytics 4. So the first thing we want to do to set up Google Analytics 4 is we want to make sure that we've selected the Google Analytics 4 property. And you can see right here that I have the GA4 next to this name of my Shopify store, so I'm in the right place. The setting that I'm in right now is the settings for that property. If you don't see this page or the Setup Assistant page, on the lower left-hand corner, you can see where it says Admin. If you click on this admin gear, it'll take you to the property that looks like this. And again, just make sure that you have selected the GA4 property from this dropdown. So now that I've selected this, I'm going to click on Setup Assistant, and then I'm going to click on Tag Installation. I'm going to click on my Shopify store URL, and then under Tagging Instructions, I'm going to select Global Site Tag. And there you have it, your Google Analytics 4 tracking code. So now you can take this code as we showed earlier in the video and paste it within your theme.liquid file. Hopefully this helps. If you have any issues doing this, go ahead and leave a comment below and I'll try to help you out as best I can. Thanks, and enjoy the rest of your day.